and good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You know, it's it's very cool for me to think sometimes to think that we've got people like all over the snow globe logging into the John Lavenia Success Mastermind. It's Thursday, July 8th, 2021. You tired of me yet? Yesterday, I was just on here running my mouth yesterday, and Edward said, "Oh, come on, man, this guy again." God, it's nice to see you. Let's do a little homework. Let's get homework. Housekeeping, that's the word we're looking for. Housekeeping. Today is Thursday. It's the hospitality suite back at its regular time, 1 p.m. Eastern. As I understand, there was some sort of a sporting event yesterday that may have been of interest to some of our British friends. Do you know anything about? Did you hear anything about this, Adrian, sporting thing yesterday? I heard rumors to that. Anyway, 3:30 p.m. Eastern.
We waited 55 years, Glenn. 55 years we waited. So
55 years.
55 years, yeah, since we've been in the final. And
holy moly, 55 years since the Kingdom has been in the Euro final.
Well, no, any kind of major cup final.
Is that right?
Well, it's not since the World Cup. I think 66, wasn't it? We haven't been in the final since then.
That's right. And you know what's interesting about that is, believe it or not, going to sort of lead into my topic of discussion today, but we'll get back to that. 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, it's gentle yoga and relaxation with our good friend, Nancy Boytenshaw. One of these days, I'm going to go over there and get myself all pretzeled up and see how this yoga thing works out. Carl, how are you doing? Nice to see you, my friend. And Sharon's here. Sharon Atherton and Daisy Julia Edward. Adrian, is it raining in the Caymans today, Adrian? Just no, it's always sunny in the Cayman Islands. Yes, very nice. And the money mama shows up as usual and graces us with her presence. It's nice to see you. I am going to a live in-person event today. Can you believe this? After all the times and stuff that we have done and been through and seen over the past year and a half and change, as you hear me talk about, with all that's been going on the past year, I'm actually going, it's going to be fantastic, going to a professional networking event this afternoon. You may have heard me mention that networking is, you know, it's a hobby of mine, a sideline, you might say, and I enjoy it. It's made such a difference in my business, and today I'm going to meet up with an entire group of people, about 40, 50 people that are part of this networking organization that I'm a part of, BNI. Well, we'll talk about that at another time, but anyway, I'm really excited about this because, you know, I never, ever turn down an opportunity to meet new people, shake a few new hands, start a few new conversations, and that's another thing that's going to come up later in the conversation. It's so good to see all of you all here, and what do you say? Let's get right into it. I saw, and this may be kind of a brief conversation today. I always say that, and it always ends up going like a full hour. How does this happen? Because Glen can't help but run his mouth. Glen runs his mouth. I should start a website. GlenRunsHisMouth.com. What do you think? Think anybody would tune in? I'll start a podcast. GlenRunsHisMouth.com. Anyway, I saw something on a tweet the other day by a friend of mine, a friend and a business coach, you know, someone from whom I've taken many valuable lessons in business and networking advice and all of that. Her name is Andrea Waltz. Andrea Waltz and her husband, Richard Fenton, wrote a book some years ago. They've written two books that I found really interesting. One is called The $1 Million Year. And if you've got any experience, or if you know anyone who's ever had any experience in, the networking, home business, direct selling, network marketing, profession industry, if you have any interest in learning a bit more about it, I highly recommend this book. It's a very, very thin, very short read, really interesting, called The $1 Million Year. It's not necessarily about what you think it's about. But anyway, The $1 Million Year. The book for which they are best known, I think, at least best known so far, is one called Go for No. It's a book primarily geared toward salespeople or people in the selling profession. Okay, I have to pause at this moment because I just had a peek at the chat. Adrian, this is an absolute groaner. Here's another one. How many country and western singers does it take to change a light bulb? You ready for this? 2. 5. No, 5. 5. How many country western singers does it take to change a light bulb? 5. 1 to change the bulb, and 4 to sing about how much they loved the old one. I see what you did there. That's well done, you see. So I interrupt. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes. Andrea Waltz and Richard Fenton, Go for No, primarily geared toward people in the sales profession, but also applicable in just about every aspect of life. The subtitle of the book, yes is the destination, no is how you get there. I highly recommend this book, even if you're not actively engaged in the sales process, which I'm willing to bet you are, actually. Have you ever spent even 30 seconds desperately trying to get your 2-year-old to eat their peas? Then you have at some point in your life been engaged in the selling profession. I saw that smile, Edward. You know what I'm talking about, brother. So anyway, Andrea drops tweets about 47 times a day, as far as I can tell, and they're fantastic. Absolutely great. Here's the one that caught my attention the other day. She said, and you may want to jot this down. I may say it again. What Andrea said was, challenge your limiting belief that if it doesn't happen fast, it won't happen at all. Ooh. I'm going to repeat it so you get it exactly right. I wanted to get it exactly right, so I kept reading it and rereading it until I actually memorized it. You can see. Challenge your limiting belief that if it doesn't happen fast, it won't happen at all. Now, why did that hit me the way it did and make me feel some type of way? I'll explain. As some of you are aware, may or may not be aware, I have been in and around the network marketing profession for the better part of 40 years now. Holy schlamoli. Can you think of anything you've been doing for 40 years? Not too many things, but I've been in and around, in and out, up and down. Now, does that mean I have achieved all the success I desire and made all the money I want to make? Yeah, that's hilarious. What it means is, as I like to say sometimes, there is, for me, and I've had enough experience and I've been in and around enough companies and programs and product lines and business opportunities and pay plans and leaders and so-called leaders that, and I've made enough stupid mistakes in my own life and in my own career that maybe I can wave somebody off before they make the same mistake I did. One of the mistakes that I absolutely love waving people off from these days is the mistaken perception the limiting belief, if you like, that success only loves speed. Now you notice the words that I use there. It is a limiting belief, in my opinion, to hold the opinion that success only loves speed. I've heard this said by so many different people, not only in home business, not only in network marketing, but in most every profession. You got to do it fast. Got to do it quick. Got to get it right now. Got to recruit 100 people this week. Got to do it now. And what far too often happens is we as a business community, we as a society can have this tendency to only pay attention to only recognize the achievements of, to only give honor and accolades to the people who go fast, the people who burn bright right now, the people who jump in this business thing and they make $14 million in 6.5 minutes. Isn't he fantastic? What an achiever. One of my favorite movies is a movie starring Richard Dreyfuss from some years ago. I'm going to type the title into the chat. And I highly recommend this movie. It's called Mr. Holland's Opus. Daisy, you've seen this movie, you know. Mr. Holland's Opus. It tells the story, I don't know if it's based on a true story, it doesn't matter. It tells the story of a musician, a composer, who, because he's gotten married and has a baby on the way and needs some income to fall back on, takes a job as a music teacher at a high school in his town or whatever it is. And he only takes this job to pay the bills, to support himself while he works on the great symphony that he's writing, that he is composing, which is going to get his name on the map and make him world famous as a musician and as a composer. And the story, okay, I'm going to stop now because I'm not going to spoil it for you. What I will say is that he does get his name on the map. This musician, this composer, this music teacher. He does get his name on the map, but not quite in the way he expected. I was watching another movie just last night. See, what you've got to understand about me is that most of the profound and witty things that you may hear me say came or have come either from a book I read, or a TV show or movie I watched, or a conversation I had with somebody, or, you might have guessed, from, Star Trek. So, I was watching another movie last night called A Beautiful Mind, Russell Crowe, based on the real, true life story of John Nash, one of the greatest mathematical minds this nation has ever produced. There's a scene in the movie where they're on the campus of this university and they're looking into the faculty lounge, and there's an elderly gentleman sitting down at a table, and some of the other faculty members are coming by and they're placing pens, fountain pens, very, usually nice pens on the table in front of him, shaking his hand. Like, congratulations, my compliments to you, sir, well done, blah, blah, blah. Well, what is this? And the character who points this out says, it's the pens. The pens. It's an honor reserved for a faculty member who makes the achievement of a lifetime. So how many times in your lifetime are you going to make the achievement of a lifetime? I don't know. Once, if you're fortunate. Maybe twice if you're truly, truly lucky, truly blessed. What's my point in talking about all of these movies and in bringing up all of these scenes? What's my point? Well, let's go back to the saying. Challenge your limiting beliefs. Challenge your limiting belief that if it doesn't happen fast, it won't happen at all. I know so many people in the entrepreneurial profession, in the network marketing, in the e-commerce, in the affiliate marketing, in the home business professions. I know so many, in fact, too many people, far too many people who, if they don't see instant results, immediate results, get discouraged and quit. Why is it that people get discouraged by not seeing instant results, immediate results? I believe it has a lot to do with the society that we have created, the cultural mindsets that we have created, where turn on any TV drama, any TV crime drama, turn on any, police procedural show or whatever it might be. There's some horrific crime, horrible, terrible crime that's been committed, and our heroes come on the scene, and they do a little research, they interview a couple of people, they put a couple of dudes under the bare bulb, and the crime is solved and justice is done in 52 minutes or less. And we watch this stuff. And we watch it over and over and over again. And we become almost conditioned to believe that solutions are supposed to happen quickly. We've even talked about it in some cases here in the mastermind, where we've exchanged viewpoints and discussed this thing about time and patience and working at what we desire, working to achieve the goals we desire. And we've heard some people say, well, go quickly, go hard. Massive action, right? Well, sure. Absolutely take massive action. And understand that most of the great achievements in life, think about a success story. Think about a great person from history. Think about a great business that's been built. Did they happen in weeks? Did they go from 0 to billions in 6 months? Did this person go from the first swing of a Little League bat to the Hall of Fame in 2 years? Most of the time, and I'd be willing to guess, Adrian might back me up on this in my thought, most of the time, the greatest achievements that we hear and see and read about are achieved by people who took years, invested years in building their dream, invested years in building their business. Now look, please understand, it is not my intention here to discourage anyone. It is not my intention to tell you it has to take 20 years, otherwise it's worthless. My point is, whatever it is you desire, be patient, work hard, work smart, get the best advice you can possibly get from people who have achieved what it is you seek to achieve, and also understand that it will take time. Probably more time than you think. What do you think? Think back on your own life. The things that you've done in your life, the career that you've built, the achievements you've had in your business, the things you've been able to make happen with your family, with your relationships, with your, let's say, athletic performance. Are you an athlete? Have you ever sought to take your performances to the next level? Did you take your performance from square one to square 10 in 2 weeks? How long did it take? Be patient. Challenge, I'll say it again. Thank you, Andrea. Challenge your limiting belief that if it doesn't happen fast, it won't happen at all. Give yourself time. Here's one of the other nice benefits of giving yourself time to achieve what you desire. You get to cut yourself some slack. You get to forgive yourself for not getting it done the day after tomorrow. We put so much pressure on ourselves these days that everything has to be done fast. We've got to hit all those sales marks in the next 2 weeks. I'm a great believer in 90-day runs. If I'm starting from right where I am right now, as a matter of fact, I've just launched a 90-day run in aid of my own business goals. And I'm as I say, I'm a big fan of 90-day runs. I also understand that I'm not going to get my business from where I am right now to what I ultimately desire in 90 days. I can lay some building blocks. I can lay some foundation in 90 days. I'd even be able to make some money in 90 days. But I understand. I'll give you an example. Give you a perfect example of this. One of the main companies with which I do business, one of the main organizations, they have an annual convention every year. Where there's teaching, there's coaching, there's all sorts of things that happens, and some inspirational stories are told from stage and so forth. And I never will forget, there were two success stories, two successful couples, two couples that had achieved some results of note with the company. One of them had gotten started working with this company about a year, about 12, 14 months before, and had done really, really well. Had made a nice amount of money, had built a sustainable, long-term organization and business, and it was fantastic. Really, really great. Congratulations. And there was another couple. Obviously they had paid off all their debts, and they were debt-free and had really accomplished something. There was another couple who had achieved significant results, who were debt-free and were being recognized for having earned a significant amount of money and reaching certain milestones. This second couple, first couple took 14 months or so, 14, 16 months, whatever it was. The second couple took them 24 years. Here was the thing that I noted that was really of interest to me. The accolades, the cheers, the applause, the recognition was actually greater for the couple who took 24 years than it was for the couple who did it in 16 months. Why? I don't know. I know what my opinion was. It seemed to me that the couple who had been around for all those many years are to be congratulated for never having given up on their dream. How many people you know hold on to a commitment and stick by that commitment, stand by that commitment, and work steadily, consistently, passionately for 24 years to get it done. Again, I wouldn't dare tell you that you got to go slow. I wouldn't dare tell you that it has to take years and years and decades to achieve what you desire. Back to the saying. Challenge your limiting belief that if it doesn't happen fast, it won't happen at all. And especially challenge your limiting belief that you got to get discouraged if it doesn't happen in the next couple of weeks. I see that Adrian has got a thought about this, and I'm going to come and find you in a moment, my friend. This is one of the things, this idea of patience, of letting it take time, giving your dreams time to germinate and flower. It's one of the things that gives me hope and encouragement and inspiration to continue stepping forward in what I do. Because I know, as the old book says, don't get tired, don't be weary in well-doing, for we know that we shall, in good time, we shall reap if we faint not. Don't quit. In other words, never, 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 as our old great leader Winston Churchill used, never, never, never give up. Ancient Japanese saying, I think it's ancient Japanese saying, fall down 7 times, get up 8. I'm going to say it one more time, and then I'm going to hear from you. Challenge your limiting belief that if it doesn't happen fast, it won't happen at all. Stay on the road. Stay on your path. Continue to do what you know is the right thing to do. Get all the advice. Get all the coaching and training and tips to accelerate your growth as much as you possibly can. And understand that if it takes a little longer, it'll be even more worthwhile to you. I'm thinking back now to the final scene in that movie, Mr. Holland's Opus, which I will not give away, but you got to go see this movie. You got to go see this movie. Has something to do with the achievement of a lifetime. Adrian, what's on your mind, my good friend?
Boy, you've landed a whole lot of stuff on us there, Glenn. As I posted in the chat, Mr. Henderson's magnum opus. Yeah, no, it's so true, so true. We've got a conflict in the modern world, haven't we? We're coming out of the old era where there was probably more expectation of patience and things taking a lifetime, whereas now the good thing about the internet is that there's this spark of hope that things could happen in a few years. And we look at all these unicorns that have been created that are now worth $1 billion in less than 10 years. So that's an encouraging thing. However, the downside of that is the culture we're creating and that we're having foisted upon us is instant gratification, delivery the next day, delivery within 24 hours, getting to the next level in the e-game instantly. So we've got to battle this because we're in a conflict now between perhaps younger generations expecting things to happen immediately and ourselves who haven't been conditioned that way, but we're coming up against that mindset now. And it's probably disturbing us because we're seeing these unicorns and these instant launches and these IPOs where they raise 300 million immediately on no profit at all for nothing, apparently. So, it's a challenge. Vaporware. But on the other hand, we know there are studies on this. One of the books that was written, I think it was Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers, where he raises the professorial study that was conducted where they said to be really, really, really good at something, you've got to do at least 10,000 hours of practice.
10,000 hours.
And they then study sports stars. Anyone at the top of their game has probably put in 10,000 hours of practice, which again, us back more on the side of being patient, because we know that if we focus on one thing and we do it really, really well, if we practice enough, then eventually we will get results, because we'll be really good at it, as good as anybody else at it, and probably better. And then we'll start winning, whether that's in sport, in business, in our particular field of product delivery, product design and creation, whatever we're doing. So this 10,000 hours is important. There is a dispute over it, but it generally, we know, is true, that if you focus on one thing and you really put your heart and soul in and practice it, you're going to be better at it. And you probably agree with that. Having seen you sing, we certainly know that's the case. Brilliant performance, by the way. I hope everyone's seen the video. Glen did an amazing operatic performance. It was incredible. So yeah, the 90-day plans, all part of this patience, but breaking patience and long periods down into manageable chunks that we can understand. So that's the other side of what you were saying, Glen, that
yes,
yeah, it's all very well having this patience for 10, 20 years, 24 years, Lark. But if we look forward 24 years, we get lost. Yeah. So we have to start breaking down into little wins. We need those little wins. So we can be patient, but if we don't have little wins, then we are going to be lost on a sea of hope, but not really feeling we're getting anywhere. And then we sink. So these 90-day plans, which again translates into this book about the 12-week year, where you break the year down each week as a month. So in your 90 days, each week of that 90 days becomes a month. So when you make a New Year's resolution, you can measure it over 90 days rather than 365 days, which is sort of more understandable. So patience on the one hand, but mini wins and mini goals and is important too, just to encourage us. And that was my thoughts. But you raised so many issues, Glen. It was great. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And you're absolutely right, Adrian. And thank you for reminding us about the little wins, because you know, it's like the old story, right? Journey of 1,000 miles. First step. And all sports championships are won. One practice, one training session, one game at a time. One game, one match at a time. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Adrian. Janet, how are you? What's happening?
Hello. Good morning. Well, thank you, Glen. Thank you for all of this. So I asked in the chat about your, I haven't posted on Facebook. I'm trying to find your singing.
Oh, the video.
but anyway, so what I've been doing for a while now is studying calligraphy. And this is one of the things that I will be putting out there with lessons. I'm just trying to work on the best format. I'm presently teaching 60 people on Zoom every week. But I tell my students, the good news is that you can study this all of your life. There is so much to know and so many ways to go and so many people who have, it's a field that was explained to me that when you first think of it, it's like going into the small end of a funnel. Your imagination of what you think this entails, and we can say this about the e-commerce business or other things, what you imagine this entails is kind of small. And then you get into it and all of a sudden it opens up like into a funnel. It opens up and oh my God, there's so much to know and so much to do. And it wasn't what you thought in the beginning. So the good news is that you can study this all of your life, because what you're inspired by an envelope, you're inspired by a certificate, something you've seen, and you just think, oh, I want to do that. And then you find out how much wonderful stuff there is to know.
How about
and
that?
The bad news is you can study this of your life. Because you will never know all there is to know. Even the very best, they specialize in and are in a smaller bit of it is where they've specialized, even if they've studied many, many things. So I think this, even though, and I've been doing it since 1966.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was 3,
Nice.
So it's, even though it's not the business thing, and I will be turning it into hopefully a very wonderful, I will be turning it into a very wonderful way of sharing joy and be remunerated for it.
Mm-hmm.
But but it, you know, it still is applicable, and it's still something that I've done for a very long time, could do more of daily and still have so much more ahead of me. So that's the good news.
Exactly. I love it. Thank you, Jenna. It reminds me of what somebody told me one time when I first started learning how to play poker. I suppose it could be applied to a number of different professions or sports or hobbies or activities. Said, Glenn, got to remember, poker is one of those games that takes an hour to learn and a lifetime to master. And whenever I get around to mastering it, I'll let you know. Yes. No, it's true. Janet, as a matter of fact, you reminded me, I need to make a note. I want to introduce you to a friend of mine who lives in the state of North Carolina and is actually currently running a successful calligraphy business. Wonder if you all might have a couple of interesting conversations. Note to self. I'll be back.
Note to self.
I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch. What other thoughts are going through our minds about this whole thing? And you pointed this out so well, Adrian. There is a conflict in the way we as a society look at success, and look at how long success is supposed to take, whatever that means. I've heard more than one successful person say, yeah, took me 15 years to become an overnight success. You know what I mean? And so there is that. And I refuse to use the O word. But I will say that as time passes and I gain experience and insight, I come to realize more and more that most of the time, the best learning takes time. Not always, but most of the time. The best learning and the best achievements take a little time. At least a little bit more time than we anticipate. I heard somebody say once that most people in business overestimate what they can accomplish in 90 days and underestimate what they can accomplish in 5 years. If that makes sense. Kind of to your point, Adrian, about balancing small wins with a long-term view. So get small wins. Start with a small win today. I was also going to mention something today about continuous improvement. What's the Japanese term? Kaizen? If you were to take a look at what you do now, whatever it is, and figure out a way to improve your performance in your current chosen path, improve your performance 1% today. What could you pull off in a year? Holy moly. Now, for someone in the sales profession, for example, that might mean one extra phone call today, one extra reach out to a person. Adrian, your thoughts?
Yeah, I got to come back to you on that one, Glenn. I mean,
yeah, man.
I've looked at a lot of those examples recently, and I spoke about one a little while ago. I spoke about two of them. One was the Olympic swimmer who broke down over the 4 years he had to qualify and win the gold, how many microseconds a day. In his next training session, he had to shave off and he won the gold medal. The other one was the Down syndrome man who made an agreement with his father that they only had to improve a certain amount, 1% a day, and he would complete the Ironman triathlon, which was nobody with his condition had ever managed to do because it was really heavy duty. And he did it. So again, not only this 1% a day, but 1% a day with a specific target in mind in terms of where you have to be in, say, 4 years' time is something you can hang on to. And okay, the Olympics has a definite date, the triathlon has a definite date, but if you can give yourself a definite date I'm going to be competing on that date to win the gold on that day and break it back and work out the 1% a day. It's something really understandable, because that's all you have to spur yourself on to do. I'm not going to be at the top of the mountain today. All I need to do is do this little microsecond improvement or this improvement. And I know if I build those on in a stack, I'm going to qualify in 4 years and win it.
That sounds to me like a perfect balance between small wins and the big long-term goal. Couldn't have said it better myself, mate. Excellent. Excellent. I knew it. I knew if we gave him enough time that Reverend Mosley would step forward. What's up, Edward? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Excellent. Excellent.
Well, what really comes up for me is the identity that you have to encompass in order to maintain the long road. Because if you think about it, think back when you were in the academic world, when you were studying for whatever the case may be, high school, junior high, college, whatever. And specifically in high school, you were in the in group and you had an identity. You wore this shirt that you felt like you had on, and you were in this class with these people who were always the successful people. And because of what you had done prior to, you were in that group as well. And you didn't let the naysayers say anything to get you off track because you had a belief and you had control of the weather in your head. The weather in your head is what will absolutely, destroy you. The things that are dream stealers are lack of confidence, belief, and commitment, failure and setbacks, false starts, because you're going to have all that. False competition. In other words, you see another opportunity that looks like yours or better than yours, you think, or whatever the case may be, or they're telling you. Naysayers you respect, care about, that you love. All those things are gonna get you off track. So that means that the shirt you got on, they want you to take it off. Mm-hmm. Because the identity that you have got to maintain is what they want to see you take off, because you might get ahead of them or whatever the case may be. So it's not a competition scenario. It's just about being evangelical, like you're talking about. You got to make sure that you have on your mantra what it is you're gonna accomplish, what it is that you're gonna do. And the rituals and habits that we're talking about writing your goals out every day, and about getting some good knowledge in every day, and being on this call, as much as you can. And when you're not on this call, get the recording. The tools that we have at our disposal is just monumental. And, we don't realize how great it is to be able to post every day and to understand exactly how everything, transforms. I had a revelation yesterday, on a call with Adrian about, what the real focus is, what the real benefit is, and what the target needs to be. All these things are, things that you take for granted, you think but, if you keep going back to the fire, you'll get burned. And that's what you want to do. You want to stay on fire. And just to let you know, see what that is? That is my winning jar.
The wins jar.
I got from you, okay? And notice, when I first started, it was almost empty. But now, it's overflowing. I've had to poke it back down. So, you don't just learn something to learn it and go, oh, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. You have to act on it. You have to do it. And, all I can say is that, this stuff works, y'all. It works. And like reading the book with John right now, it works. It's just giving you different perspectives on how to look at things, how to see things, and understand that the greatness that's within you is meant to come out. It's meant to be, observed by others. It's meant to be, realistic. It's not meant to be, ethereal. It's meant to be real. And we all are operating in blood type G. We're OGs, and as long as we understand that, And, you know, there's a verse that says, greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. So what does that mean? That means that the dwelling and the empowerment is within you. So you got to trust that and act on it. So that's my 2 cents.
Nice. See, I love it. I love it. Stay on fire. The winds jar. Like the winds jar. Ladies and gentlemen, my work is done here. Thank you, Edward. You know, I always appreciate your perspective. You always take the larger view. You take the larger view and you show us the larger view by encouraging us to look inward. And I like that. Look inward at our own inner fire and our own inner empowerment. And as you said, when we're connected with that, can't nobody take us off track. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you all so much. I need to go and get myself ready to head on up to my big time live in-person networking event this afternoon. This is going to be so much fun. Actual human beings actually in a room together, actually talking face to face. Can you believe it? Well, thank you all so much. Once again, hang out for the hospitality suite. If you like, we've got gentle yoga and relaxation, our regular Thursday pretzel session with Nancy Burtonshaw. And we shall see you all. Remember, tomorrow, fun Friday. Bring a joke, bring your pet, dress up a little bit. You want to. And we will be glad to see you. Make it a fantastic day. Can I practice my Vulcan on you again? Because I told you the other day, right? I've learned, can you believe this? I actually learned how to say, live long and prosper in the original Vulcan. Tritor es mosma. Live long and prosper, my team. See you soon. Bye for now.